Ros, welcome. Could you just start off by telling us a bit about yourself, where you live, what parish you come from, your family situation and what you do for a living?
It's complicated. The easy bit is I live in Benjo.
Okay.
I live with my husband. I've got 3 sons, they're all grown up and do their own thing. Sorry, what was the other bit of the question?
What do you do for a living?
Oh, well, I get called a bookkeeper. I used to be an accountant, but when the office closed down, I thought I'd have a bit of a chance to do what I'd always wanted to do and make a career as a writer, but it didn't work out. The money sort of ran out before I got anywhere with it, and
Right.
so I ended up working part-time for a local building firm, sorting out all their messy accounts.
Okay. And what about the church you go to? Which parish are you from?
Well, it's Benjo.
Is it Benjo Parish?
Benjo,
Sorry.
yeah, Benjo's it's Holy Trinity's our main church. We've
Okay.
got another church down the road, St Leonard's, that we use in the summer.
Okay. Now, you are second year of training as a lay reader. We want to take you right back and say, do you remember the first lay reader you ever saw and what you made of them?
I don't know who was the first one I ever saw, but my dad was one.
All right.
But he was sort of roped into it, you might say, by a family friend. So presumably I knew him before my dad was one.
And what did you make of lay readers? You must have seen your dad being a lay reader and what lay readers did, and what they were like.
I don't know, I just sort of took it for granted really, I think. Didn't make anything particular of it.
Okay.
They
And
were just there, part of the church.
part of the church, okay. And what made you want to become a reader yourself?
I don't think I ever did particularly want to. It's a long story how I got here, but I don't think wanting to do it ever came into it.
Okay. So, can you explain why you're here then?
Because eventually after, what was it, probably 6 years of wondering about the possibility, 2 years of putting it all on one side and thinking, no, that's not it. Then one day it just was made extremely clear to me when I was praying that actually after all that was it.
So it was
I
a
mean-
fairly swift decision for you.
Eventually, after a very, very long time, I mean, so there was about 6 years of thinking, well, not now, maybe one day. And then 2 years of just thinking, no, this is never going to happen. And then, then the end bit did go quickly.
Okay. So, you're halfway through your training.
Yeah.
How would you describe what you've got from doing the training you've done so far? What have you learned?
A lot more sort of background, academic, I can't really think of a good word for it, all the sort of theological stuff and that sort of underpinning for the actual faith. So more of an understanding, maybe more an intellectual sort of level of what otherwise is, well, I was going to say more emotional, but then you've always got faith is a bit of a strange mixture, I think, of sort of what you feel and what you just know and hang on to, but then there's a different sort of knowing, and I think that's what it is really. It's the more theoretical knowing of stuff that, yeah.
So if the training has been a bit on the theoretical side, how would you say it's changed you and your understanding of the church?
You need a long time to think how to work out an answer to that one.
I suppose, the reason I'm asking is because sometimes we need to know something or learn about things to do a job, but sometimes we need to learn and know about something because of the role we're playing, and I suppose it's kind of interesting to get feedback on whether it helps you to do the job of a reader or whether readers are doing a particular ministry, and I'm not trying to lead you at all, but if has it helped you, or do you feel that the things that you're learning and preparing you to be a lay reader are different from actually a lot of the booky, you know, intellectual stuff? I mean, how have you found it?
I think what you call the booky intellectual stuff provides quite a useful way of thinking about and analysing things that you might have taken for granted, and some people ask some questions about why somebody believes something, or why we, just in practical things in a church, why we do things, what's the thinking behind this or that or the other. And I think the theoretical stuff does provide practical answers, because just because one person hasn't thought of a particular question, once you get into a position like that, you're likely to have people who have thought of that question and come and ask you.
Yeah.
And if you haven't learnt about that stuff, then you wouldn't have any answers to come up with them. All you say is, oh, don't know, never thought about that, which isn't very helpful to them. Whereas I think if you're learning stuff which might be theoretical to one person, then it can have a very practical use in helping people find ways to think about their faith.
Sure. So when you get to be licensed, which will be in a little over a year's time, what are you looking forward to doing?
Don't know. Well, you can take looking forward in more than one way, can't you? If you literally mean what do you sort of anticipate or think about, it's not quite the same as the way people usually use it, but the sort of thing that will be different that you can't do now is dealing with people who are bereaved and taking funerals. It's not the sort of thing you look forward to in the sense that you look forward to a birthday party,
Sure.
but I think that is the sort of thing I probably see on the horizon as quite a possibility. Most of the other things will probably just be more of what I've been doing anyway, so I think that's the main thing that will be different.
What have you been doing already?
I've been preaching occasional sermons for quite a few years. When the vicar first started thinking that perhaps I should train as a reader, he sort of talked me into just try having a little sermon at evensong, which I think is not uncommon if vicars think that there's somebody with the sort of potential. That is quite often a way and get them to do one or two sermons and then get off on your training. Only I was sort of doing that for quite a few years before I got here.
And have you got involved in more of the pastoral side, being with people? Is that important to you?
Yes, that's happened quite a bit. I mean, I don't get involved with a lot of people. We don't have one of these teams that go out visiting like some churches do. But when we had a prayer group start up at our church, must be nearly 11 years ago now, which I joined when it first started up, and after about 5 years I took over leading it. And there's quite a bit of sort of interaction, which I suppose you'd call of a pastoral side, with people who belong to that. Sort of comes out quite a bit. I mean, the 2 years that I said when I'd never thought I was going to train as a reader, I actually spent those 2 years doing spiritual direction training. And I sort of get to talk to quite a lot of people, say largely, but not entirely, but largely through the prayer group, not in actual formal spiritual direction, but heading just sort of conversations that sort of head that way type of thing. So I see that as being, something that's quite likely to expand.
That's great. Thank you very much.